Hey, let's talk about the plant-based revolution of vegan burgers and vegan chicken as well as other mock meats. Now, we're going to talk about, are they full of chemicals or are they simply recipes? And are the real chemicals and drugs in the real animal products? So, as you may know or should know if you aren't living under a rock, Impossible Whopper at Burger King is very popular. They have TV commercials on NFL games and much more. And Impossible Burgers stocks are going through the roof in the stock market, and animal agriculture is very upset about that because they fear that the future is vegan. So they do smear campaigns, suddenly pretending that they care about natural and healthy whole foods. Yeah, not. Look up a factory farm video for the truth on factory farms and the fast food industry. But also some fast food consumers are pretending like they suddenly care about health. That's kind of funny when they eat fast food. But we'll find out who has the real chemicals.
We fed beef lovers a Whopper with no beef.
You can't imitate beef, it just tastes better.
Turns out these beef lovers love plants too.
That's an Impossible Whopper?
I'm a damn fool.
Impossible Whopper with a patty made from plants. Only at Burger King. Or get it delivered via Uber Eats with a $0.
There you have it. There's one of their TV commercials. And they're taking off around the country. I lived in Houston, Texas to New York City, and they're very popular. Now, let's talk about the chemicals, and then we're going to talk about the labeling and how they should be labeled, because some nanny state people want there to be different labels. So, chemicals. Vegan meats are full of chemicals, they say. Yeah, they lied to you again. The opposite is true. The fact is, most drugs or antibiotics in the USA are fed to factory-farmed animals. No chemicals in most plant-based meats, but many cancerous carcinogens in processed meats as deli cold cuts. A cup of milk has millions of pus cells too, utter suckers. And here's a quote from the World Health Organization and the U.S. Library of Medicine and National Institutes of Health. Of all antibiotics sold in the United States, approximately 80% are sold for use in animal agriculture, in part due to illnesses from deplorable conditions in the sick factory farms. Look up factory farm videos for yourself. About 70% of these are medically important. Example from classes of important to human medicine. Antibiotics are administered to animals in feed manually to improve or rapid growth rates and to prevent infections. A practice projected to increase dramatically worldwide over the next 15 years. There is growing evidence that antibiotic resistance in humans is promoted by the widespread use of non-therapeutic antibiotics in animals because we're becoming resistant to it. So here's some photos feeding all of our antibiotics to animals because they live in nasty factory farms, which that picture doesn't show. Deplorable conditions. Again, look up a factory farm video. So the fact is they're trying to spread myths that the chemicals are in the fake meats when all the drugs are in the real animals. Yes, I call it eating animals, not eating meat. Vegan meats are fake. While they're talking on a phone or a computer. Yeah, you're talking on a computer or phone. Like, that's not fake. It's called evolution. So, but what is a fake meat or mock meat, as I call them, or plant-based meat? Vegan mock meats are like any other recipe. It's a recipe. It's made of ingredients to create a taste, such as falafel and hummus. Hummus is made of mashed garbanzo beans or chickpeas, lemon juice, and a couple other spices. And it's very healthy still, despite being a little bit processed. Indian food, Italian, Mexican, Asian, and most foods we eat are processed to some degree and still can be very healthy. Some brands or types are better than others for the vegan meats, like Dr. Praeger's, as you can see here, and Engine 2, for example. And they're based on the ingredients. You have to look at the ingredients to know if they're natural or healthy. If they're just sometimes you see whole peas in them. So you can't say that mock meats are not healthy. And most of these are GMO free, high fiber, and heart healthy. Again, that's Dr. Praeger's brand. Ingredients list. Popeye's chicken sandwich craze is the same factory farmed birds, just different vegan spices. So why was Popeye's chicken so popular? And here's all the ingredients in some of them. Boneless chicken, breasts, water, isolated soy protein. Yeah, soy's in that too. Yellow corn flour, sea salt, cornstarch. All these ingredients. Sometimes more than the mock meats. You ever hear of pink slime nuggets? Here's some ingredients in some of your burgers. Beef, water, corn syrup, salt, mustard seed, which is fine. Lactate, dextrose, hydrolyzed beef stock, sodium lactate, yeast, sodium phosphate, sodium disacetate, nitrates, paprika, which is fine, some of them. And here's some hot dogs, cancerous hot dogs. Look at all those lists. So, chemicals, yeah. Recipes, possibly. Whatever you want to call it. Here's a comparison of a couple popular veggie burgers, Beyond and Impossible. You can pause it if you want to read it. Again, pea protein, that's fine. Coconut oil, okay. Rice protein, fava bean protein, potato starch, fruit juice, vegetable juice for coloring. Yeah, that sounds pretty good to me, for the most part. In comparison, protein, not much of a difference. The only difference is sodium, a little higher in the vegan meats, but the calories are lower. Saturated fat lower, which turns to cholesterol. So there's pros and cons. Overall, I would say the plant-based ones are better and healthier. Not just for you, but for the animals. So let's talk about the labeling, but first we're going to talk about fake meats. Factory farms are fake farms that the fake news will never show because most people don't like the uncomfortable truth and just want to hire hitmen to do dirty work for them. Look up what you pay people to do, meatvideo.com or meat.org. Factory farms are welfare queens subsidized with our taxes, making it so cheap. The USDA Farm Bill, we need to petition to defund them. The Farm Bill of Welfare alters our food system, make our labor and resource intensive. Yes, meat is labor and resource intensive. It takes up to 16 pounds of crops fed to a force-bred animal for just 1 pound of meat in return. Because they poop most of it out, just like you do. If you eat 16 pounds of food over the course of a week, you're not going to put on 16 pounds of weight. You're going to poop most of it out or burn it off living. So why are animal products cheaper than basic healthy whole foods like a salad? That's $4 for just 6 to 8 ounces, or $8 a pound, while meat or cooked flesh can be as low as $1 a pound, or eggs $1.50 a dozen. You see, Purdue, yeah, they claim to be good. Yeah, right. 89 cents a pound. Yeah, thanks to the welfare subsidies from these welfare queens. We are paying taxes to them to destroy our food system, our healthcare system, massive food waste, harm our environment, the food waste noted above, and abuse billions of sentient beings from birth to death in sick factory farms that we fund. We're paying to pay more for our addictions. Yeah, look up factory farms. They're tortured from birth to death. Funded by our taxes. Yet animal agriculture wants government protections despite taking our money. You can't call it meat or milk. That's misleading. So they claim. Nobody is trying to trick you. Unlike factory farms and their TV ads showing Red Barn farms of the past, which is a complete lie. Yes, like Philly cream cheese. If you were tricked, you are not smart enough to survive on your own. If you think of plant-based meat when it clearly says plant-based right on the front, you're not smart enough to survive on your own. They want to appeal to vegans and vegan-friendly crowds, so why would they want to mislead? It clearly states plant-based, veggie burger, vegan chicken, not dogs, meatless meatballs or wheat balls, tempeh bacon, almond milk alternative, etc. Animal abusers simply fear the future is vegan, so try to use Big Gov to protect them even more. Nanny state conservative states use big government protections to protect animal abusers and sick factory farms because they are mainly the ones who profit in those states, who want tons of our taxes and welfare subsidies. Again, the USDA Farm Bill petitioned to defund them, but then no regulations other than ag-gag laws to protect them even more, and anti-whistleblower laws to support their crony capitalism. So now we are funding and protecting them and the lies and the cruelty in factory farms. Hamburgers for the labeling. That's they claim is misleading. There's no ham in a hamburger or a burger. Ham is from a pig. So call them cow burgers, and we'll call ours veggie burgers, like we have been. You don't own the term burger, patty, ball, nugget. They're not legal terms or words owned by any company or anyone. Especially not the cow abusing industry. Livestock has no respect. They call them stock. Hence, turkey burger. Are they going after them? Hot dogs. There's no dogs in a hot dog. So they're lying to me. I want to sue now. There's no dog in a hot dog. But if you want meat, you might as well go to a dog shelter after they euthanize them and eat them raw. It's free meat. Go to a dog shelter. If you really want meat and you're addicted, go eat a dog. They're already putting down dogs in shelters, so you might as well use the flesh. I actually support that. It's like if you stumble across roadkill. But hunting is actually better than factory farms too, and more natural. And there's no butter in peanut butter. So nanny states, we'll read some comments later that are funny. The true lies and fake TV commercials showing red barn farms of the past and the reality of factory farms. Go to meat.org or meatvideo.com by Mercy for Animals. We're almost done. Vegan is not natural, they say, like mock meat recipes, as we talked about. They're recipes. Try and focus here. Bad phone. Trying to talk is not natural on the computer. Nothing natural about udder sucking, pus-filled bodily fluid secretions made for babies of the same species. There's nothing natural about eating female birds' periods or eggs and cooked corpses of flesh, tendons, fat, tissue, skin, butts, etc. from sick factory farmed animals. Factory farms routinely drug, confine in tiny cages because it's cheaper and less expensive. Plus, if they don't move much, they'll put on more fat for profits. They routinely debeak, dehorn, tail and ear dock, brand or burn, castrate, mutilate, live transport in all weather, hot and cold, sometimes long distances without even water. Many downers can't even stand up at the end of the trip. Chickens grow many times their natural size. That many have broken bones from the unnatural weights due to selective breeding and drugging. Egg industry grinds up millions of useless male chicks. Dairy rape cream industry force breeds and abuses and then kills calves for veal so we can steal the milk. Uddersuckers. And this is force breeding. Natural, right? An arm condom. Stop sucking. So we're going to see a video of what's legal, and then we're going to talk about the nanny state and labeling them of the meats. A little more, as I already talked about. Birds are the most abused animal on Earth. Most eat 37 land animals, not counting fish and fish farms and massive trawler nets. Most eat 37 land animals a year, 35 are factory farmed birds. So I always tell people give up the birds first. Birds and eggs are the cruelest and abused in the largest quantity. So finally, you can pause this if you want to read it, just a recap on labeling and chemicals, labeling of fake meat and chemicals. And here's some funny comments that we'll close out with. And nanny state Christian conservatives who get welfare are now upset about the labeling of the meat industry because they think you're confused. Nanny state. Yeah, clearly says, burger made from plants. Imitation. Like synthetic leather or faux fur. You can pause this to read the comments.
Well, a new bill in Washington is
slammed.
taking aim at fake meat companies like Beyond Meat and Impossible Foods. The bill would put new labeling requirements on plant-based proteins, so that might affect the fake meat craze. Jess Smith is in Washington with more. Hi,
versus
Jess.
animal.
Hey, Dan. Senator Deb Fischer, who is a cattle rancher, introduced what she calls the Real Meat Act. What it would do is codify the definition of beef, and it would also require plant-based protein products or fake meat to include the word imitation on the label in the same size and prominence as the food.
And they do.
Think imitation